Hello there, how you doing? So, I've got some planning I've got to do for a Dungeons & Dragons game that is themed on the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. My players, I've got 3 of them, have made their characters at this point. A barbarian that's supposed to be an Argonian. I'm using the lizard folk from Volo's Guide to Monsters and reskinning it. I've got a rogue who's being a Khajiit. I'm using the Tabaxi also from the Volo's Guide to Monsters. And I have a warlock who is a Dunmer, or a dark elf. I'm having to homebrew that a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to work. If that falls through, I'm going to see if the player is okay switching to using the standard dark elf race from the player's handbook. Since thematically it's the same, it's just doing a little bit of tweaks here and there. However, they don't have a healer, so I need to make an NPC to be with the party as a healer in an Elder Scrolls Skyrim setting. I've had some thoughts on this, on the request that I've been given by one of the players is to have the healer be either a druid or a cleric. I'm fine with that, with either choice. Though to be fair, I am really tempted to have the healer be a human druid who worships Hircine, the Lord of the Hunt. I think it'd be amusing to have the NPC be a Daedra worshipper. But if I do that, there's the risk of creating a situation where there's a degree of antagonism walking in with the rest of the setting, who clearly don't, because the standard citizen of the Empire is not going to be worshipping Daedra, well, unless of course they're a Dunmer. But I know I'm starting with a human. Now, I had the players roll up their stats. However, I'm not comfortable doing that with an NPC. So I'm going to be using the standard array for this NPC. So that'd be a 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and an 8. Now, I also am planning on using the variant human instead of the standard human, primarily because I believe that the variant human may be able to better describe the different kinds of humans that are presented within the Elder Scrolls games. Looking at this, I've got a few options. I had the player of the Khajiit thief, or the Khajiit rogue, because we're starting at level 1, we don't have the subclasses yet. There's the they wanted to have the priest be they wanted the cleric to be a cleric of Telos. If I do that, however, that definitely skews the group towards siding with or more likely to side with the Stormcloaks in the rebellion, because I want the rebellion there in the setting. I like the basic story structure that exists within the video game. I myself, and when I play, usually side with the Empire, but I also hold the opinion that no matter which side you choose in the Civil War, it doesn't particularly matter in the long run. because the Dragonborn is going to replace Talos in the Pantheon. That's an aside, though. Let's focus on this cleric. Human cleric. Human variant cleric. That's first level. Since I'm new, so looking at this, strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Because they're being a cleric, that 15 should definitely go into wisdom, because I like putting the high stat in the where it belongs, or where it makes the most sense for the class. Their favorite attribute. Here's the question that I then have to look at. Where is this human from? We're using Skyrim as the setting. I could have them be from Cyrodiil, though, or, that other place. Well, I'm not using a half-elf, though, so they're not a Breton. That's the thing. Within this homebrew that I'm making, I am reskinning half-elves as Bretons, because that's really what their backstory is. They are all half-elves. Looking at this, I have a few choices. That could be good. Now, I'm likely going to begin the game in Falkreath, and if I do it there's a big cemetery there in Falkreath, so a Priest of Archay could make sense, except how there's a reference to the Priest of Archay not really doing adventuring for the most part. That's the priesthood, though, not necessarily the clerics. I'm probably going to go Kennereth, I think, who is the goddess of storms and warriors, the handmaiden of let's see, and I think in the lore is supposed to be married to Talos. I could be mistaken on that. I'll have to look it up. But I'm thinking Kennereth primarily because there's the one priestess of Kennereth that is presented in the game spends all of her time healing and is really worried about a tree. And I'm definitely going to use that tree as one of the plots, because honestly, I think it'd be fun to see how a group of middle schoolers deal with that quest when it's in Dungeons and Dragons and it's different. I'm jumping around a little bit though, but the wisdom is definitely 15 before modifiers getting in there. I think I would like... Well, let's see, Kennereth is noted as being the goddess of storms and warriors. So, from that standpoint... I think the 14 should probably go into strength, the 13 in charisma, the 12 in con. Let's put the dex at 8 and the intelligence 10. Of course, though that will affect their armor class, it could still work. Player's Handbook. And as an amusing side note, I love the disclaimer that's in here. I'm hoping you've got this book. Wizards of the Coast is not responsible for the consequences of splitting up the party, sticking appendages in the mouth of a leering green devil face, accepting a dinner invitation from bugbears, storming the feast hall of a hell giant's steading, angering a dragon of any variant, or saying yes when the DM asks, "Are you really sure?" How about, let's see, variant human. Where are you? Not here? No. Did I go too far? I bet I did. Halfling? No. Elves? Must be... I'm still adjusting to this book. Dwarves, elves, halflings. I must be skipping over the pages. Here it is. Human. I'm using human variant. So, 2 ability scores of your choice increased by 1. That dex is definitely becoming a 9 to make it later, to make it easier. And let's make that wisdom a 16. Variant human, you gain skill, or you gain proficiency in 1 skill of your choice. So I'll be noting that as an extra skill to come up later. And a feat, and there's a feat of your choice. So I'm going to, let's select a feat. That makes sense for... The players don't know that we're using feats yet. That's fine. A lot of it comes down to they're beginning at first level, and none of them are playing humans. What are you feats? Here it is. Character customization feats. Let's see. What's a good one to go with? Because, let's see. Now, clerics, of course. I should verify this. Skills: light armor, medium armor, and shield. So they're going to have medium armor. Let's take a look at this then. They have just enough for inspiring leader, but that's not what I'm aiming at. And they will be in medium armor. There is medium armor master, which requires being proficient with medium armor. You have practiced moving in medium armor to gain the following benefits. Wearing medium armor doesn't impose disadvantage on your dexterity stealth checks. And that really won't help them so much at this junction. Maybe later. And as a cleric, they get access to the ritual spells of a cleric. What I really want is something that gives a bonus to dexterity as part of the feat. You have practiced Weapon Master. You have practiced extensively with a variety of weapons, getting the following benefit. Increase your strength or dexterity score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You gain proficiency with 4 weapons of your choice. Each one must be simple or a martial weapon. Well, double checking here on cleric again. They are skilled with simple weapons, but not martial weapons. However, Kenrith is the goddess of storms and warriors. So the Tempest domain would make a great deal of sense. And the Tempest domain gives proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. So that particular feat would not help. I'm writing Tempest domain, by the way. because the storms and things. So, martial weapons, and heavy armor. Alright. Well, what other options are sitting here then? Ooh. Well, not Tavern Brawler. Though that could work very well in the Skyrim. Not mounted combat either, though that'd be hilarious. Ooh. Oh my. You know, Athlete could probably be a good one. You've undergone extensive physical training to gain the following benefits. Increase your strength or dexterity by 1 to a maximum of 20. When you are prone, standing up uses only 5 feet of your movement. Climbing doesn't cost you extra movement. And you can make a running long jump or a running high jump after moving only 5 feet. On foot rather than 10. I think I'm going to go with Athlete. And that dexterity goes from a 9 to a 10. Yes. What other stuff do we get then? We're not even on skills or anything like that yet. Just making sure. Spellcasting Divine Domain, which is Tempest. 3 cantrips and 2 first level spells. Let's focus on the skills first. As a cleric, choose 2 skills from History, Insight, Medicine, Persuasion, and Religion. I'm going to say Medicine and Religion. We're not even on... Now then. Let's look at background, and then I have that extra skill as a human to select. Oh. Because there's a variety of possibilities, and... See, if I go... Ooh. Okay, for instance, I like the Acolyte set. I like the Acolyte's background. But that gives insight in religion. So that religion I took from the cleric side, I should probably change to something else. Which is fairly simple to do. How about history? Which only leaves the human skill to select. And from that standpoint, given that bulk race is where I'm going to have the adventure beginning, I think survival would be a very good skill to have. Let's see, hit points are a die 8 for a cleric. So, looking at this, their hit points will be 9 at first level. I'm not on equipment yet. I'll be coming back to that. Let's select their 3 cantrips. Given that they are a cleric of Kennereth, with the domain of Tempest, that should definitely color our choices. Well, let me see. In the main book, there's only 1 damaging cantrip. Sacred Flame. So, how about light? Because that's always good. Sacred flame. And, because it's a personal favorite, thaumaturgy. I think it'd be entertaining to reflavor how these look, of course. So Sacred Flame, normally a burst of divine flame that does You know, they used to call it positive and negative energies. Now it's necrotic and where are you? They changed the names which is amusing to me. I'm looking for Divine Flame, and it's Sacred Flame. Sacred Flame, I know it's a saving throw that they have to do. Where are you? There. Radiant damage. Used to be positive energy damage, now it's radiant damage. A die 8 radiant damage. Flame-like radiance descends on the creature that you can see within range. So, I think that should be reflavored, of course, as a lightning bolt. So I'm putting in parentheses sacred bolt. So it's a bolt. Mechanically, it's exactly the same. It's just the way that it looks that I'm altering. So it's a bolt of lightning that strikes down and does radiant damage. And light, which is normally a ball of light floating there, could easily be a sparking ball of electricity. Don't even have to change the name on that. So that's the skills and such. I won't really worry about the equipment and such at this point. Because I can work on that later. I see I'm going on 22 minutes on this character. I haven't even given them a name either, which I can do later. I personally think, beyond that I say way too often, is that I'm going to have this be a female character. Partially, No, I'm okay with them being a guy. I just need a good Nordic. Yeah, Nordic. They're going to be a Nord. Because it's the Skyrim theme. So, I need a good Nordic / Germanic thing name for them. Like, Olaf or Ragnar. Sven. Well, I can't use Sven because they're expecting Sven to be a werewolf. And I'm saving that for a worshipper of Hircine. And they'll be disappointed if there's not honey-colored eyes on Sven. Because Sven is required to have honey-colored eyes. Alright.